What's going on, my people? It is your guy Hopeful and bringing you some MUGEN League updates this time. During my absence from YouTube, I got a bit more involved in MUGEN as a whole. After reading some guides and watching a few videos, I gained a better understanding of how MUGEN's coding actually works. As a result, I created a whole balance patch with changes to the characters, including buffs, nerfs, and extra features. I'll now go over the changes that were made to get you guys up to speed with the new build of MUGEN League. Note that this patch will activate at the start of Wave 7, so the 3 sets that were left that were uploaded recently will have the unaltered version of MUGEN League. Without any further ado, let's get into the patch notes. I'll show a spreadsheet on screen to give you guys a list of which characters received the change in question. Change number 1, AI. The first change being mentioned will be an AI patch to about half the cast. This update allows these characters to be more optimal with choosing when and where they block, run, or attack. Additionally, each individual character's AI patch was catered to that specific character's moveset. Some characters like Tenten might be more range focused, while others like Renji are more aggressive up-close fighters. Most altered AI should also execute combos more consistently, even in a 1v1 when they don't have a teammate to help them. The Sonic characters received AI overhauls as well and will now no longer transform during their matches. The inability to transform was added for 2 main reasons. Number 1, the AI of their super forms would need some work as they were pretty bad. And number 2, having super forms of Sonic characters seems a bit too over the top, a bit too much for MUGEN League. In addition to AI overhauls, there are some characters that had minor tweaks to their AI to make them more consistent. Change number 2, substitution / ho-ho / combo breakers. Almost all Naruto characters now have a substitution jutsu of some kind, which they can use to escape combos. These substitutions, however, have a fixed number of times when they can be used. Most characters have up to 6 substitutions, though there are some exceptions depending on the properties of the substitution in question. Characters from Bleach and One Piece also have some form of combo escapes. There is a new feature that acts as a pseudo substitution where, instead of teleporting, the character being hit enters their guard state. This is called Perfect Block and was given to a select few characters, typically those using swords, because I pictured them being able to use their swords to block. Perfect Block might not seem like much at first, but it ties into the next major change. Change number 3, guard cancel. 65 plus characters now have access to guard cancels, which they can use to execute a move while guarding. Some guard cancels are damage dealing attacks, while others are defensive moves that help to end the pressure of an opponent. Some guard cancels are also in the form of counters, where if the character that is guarding enters their counter and then gets hit, they will perform a counter attack on the enemy. All receivers of Perfect Block have guard cancels that are attacks. This allows them to make more use of their weapons in an interesting way. Unlike substitution, guard cancelling has no capped limit. Instead, guard cancelling occurs at random instances dictated by code. Basically, the parameter called random in MUGEN will return a random number within the range of 0 to 999, including 0 and 999. As a result, random can give 1000 different whole numbers. If a trigger for a move is trigger 1 equal random less than 500, then the trigger will activate when the random returns a number less than 500. That equates to the move activating roughly 50% of the time the trigger is evaluated. Some experimenting was done to see what random would cause a guard cancel to occur at a reasonable number of times, but not all the time. Most guard cancels get triggered if the random parameter is in the range of less than 150 to less than 250. Change number 4, running. Most Naruto characters would execute a hop when they needed to close distance. This was disadvantageous for most of these characters because hopping makes them airborne and will cause them to execute aerial combos, which do less damage than grounded combos. Hopping also took longer to execute than running, simply because hopping covers less distance and has to be used multiple times in order for the user to reach their target. Hopping has now largely been replaced by running. The run speed of most characters with the ability to run is about 12. Change number 5, Logia Charge and Logia Dash. Multiple Logia type Devil Fruit users are now immune to normals and specials when charging power or dashing. Instead of entering their hit state and taking damage, these users will just continue charging power or dashing until their AI decides to stop, normally when they're in range of their opponent or when their power reaches 3000. Damage increases. Before this patch, all normal combos were balanced based on the anim type of the move. Now, when a superpower is used as part of a normal combo, the superpower deals increased damage regardless of its anim type. Some specials and supers also had damage increases, and there are some moves that now do damage which didn't do damage before. Change number 7, armor. Armor is a concept in fighting games where you don't get hit even though an attack makes contact with you. Some moves from certain characters now have armor for set periods of time. This was because the move itself was very slow and would get outsped by quicker moves used by an opponent. With armor, these moves become more consistent. Change number 8. Damage reduction. All One Piece characters now have an increased defense stat, which means they take less damage overall. Gajeel also has a boosted defense stat. Change number 9. Unblockables. Some characters received unblockable attacks. A portion of these attacks had a grabbing animation, while others were just attacks with overwhelming power. Change number 10. Hitbox size increase. The hitboxes of specific moves were made larger to help with combo consistency or just landing the move in general. Change number 11. Frame data / move speed. The combo starters of most characters now have a faster startup of about 4 to 5 frames. This helps these characters initiate combos more reliably. All Sonic characters now have faster runs, which means their run speed is above 12. Change number 12. Power draining. A few moves now drain power from the opponent. Change number 13. OTG. OTG is short for on the ground, meaning the move can hit an opponent who is lying on the ground, typically after getting hit and falling towards the ground. Most moves cannot hit an opponent that's lying on the ground, but now moves with the OTG feature can do just that. Change number 14. Power add. All Fairy Tail characters now charge power at a faster rate. The Jinchuriki will now gain 1000 extra power when transforming into the tailed beast mode. Kisame now gets extra power when he lands a hit with his sword. Gray now gains power when channeling his mini ice lances. Change number 15. Duration adjustments. Gajeel's Iron Scales mode now lasts longer. Han's Hidden Steam Jutsu now has a decreased duration. Change number 16. Homing attacks. If Minato's regular Rasengan is interrupted, he will execute his Flying Raijin level 2 Rasengan instead, according to random less than 300. His double Rasengan now warps to the opponent. If Jiraiya awakens, his normal Rasengan will warp to his opponent before hitting. Aokiji's Ice Ball now tracks the opponent as well. Change number 17. Extra moves. Some characters now have extra moves. Gaara's Daisan no Mi now acts as a counter when hit. Hashirama can transform into the wooden golem. Obito and Tobi can now passively phase through normals. Orochimaru can use Edo Tensei to summon Hashirama and Tobirama. Sakura and Tsunade heal whenever they use their substitution jutsu. Sasuke's White Snake summoning now poisons the foe. And Shisui now has a Mangekyu Genjutsu. Change number 18. Power efficiency. Some of Natsu's specials now cost less power to use, and his AI was adjusted to make use of this. Change number 19. More health. Hidan now has, while Kakazu has 1050. Most other characters only have 1000 health. The Jinchuriki now all heal for 200 health when they transform into the Tail Beast mode. Move dynamics. These are changes to moves to improve them in some way that wasn't already mentioned. Akainu's dash now damages opponents according to a random trigger. Akainu's moves now have an altered burn effect based on random triggers and his current HP. Asuma's lighter will now auto-detonate when a foe is close enough to it. Danzo's paralysis jutsu will now auto-trigger when he is hit or when his opponent uses specific specials. Fujitora now does more damage to foes affected by his gravity projectile effect. Hiruzen, Konan, and Mizuki's paper bomb traps will now auto-detonate when a foe steps on them. While in his Haki mode, Killer's power charge can damage foes, and if Trafalgar Law uses Shambles in Room, he will no longer cancel Room. And that about wraps it up for this MUGEN League patch. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching, leave a like for all the talking, and subscribe for more and more content. Which change do you think will be the most powerful or impactful? Let me know down in the comments.